everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review and makeup demo using the highly anticipated launch from Makeup by Mario. And Makeup by Mario is a celebrity makeup artist, and he has so many beautiful clients. Most famously though, Kim Kardashian. Through his work with Kim Kardashian, I think that's what catapulted him to superstardom, because Mario is not only a professional makeup artist, but I think there's a special category of makeup artists that are superstars, and he's one of them. So I'm excited to have these products. They launched October 1st on Sephora's website as well as in store, and I'm always super appreciative when brands launch their products online and in store at the same time. That way I can get my hands on them. And I know people who live in major cities are just used to that, but living where I live, that's not really something that always happens. So to be able to get my hands on them means that I'm able to do my video for you all that much sooner. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I didn't pick up every single piece, but I did grab a good amount of it. So I hope that you all enjoy, and let me know if you picked up anything down in the comment section. So I'm going to take the lighter side, which is P4 of this palette, and I'm going to use this to prime my eyelids. Now, what Mario advised is for you to mix them together if you need to have a deeper color, or you can use them one or the other depending on your skin tones. So now I'm going to go into the matte palette and take a blending brush. All of the names are numbers, so this one is matte 1, matte 5, matte 9. So matte 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all, you know, so on and so forth. So it's going to be hard for me to be like matte 7, matte 5. I'll try. So I'm going to start off with matte 2 with my blending brush, and I'm going to take that as my transition shade. So I'm going directly above my crease, right on top of the eyeshadow primer, and I'm going to buff this back and forth. So back and forth. This shade is pretty light, so this is going to be my transition, and I definitely am going to go into another shade as well, but I'm just going to buff this out and then slightly buff it out on the edge of the eye too. So take a little bit because you don't want to get powder everywhere. These eyeshadows are somewhat powdery, so if you dip your brush in lightly, you'll get enough, and then just build it gradually instead of digging the brush all the way into the products. Same brush, and I'm going to take the shade matte 8, and I'm going to move down ever so slightly and take matte 8 and take that right underneath the transition shade, but I'm still working above my crease. So this one is like a secondary transition shade. So I'm just gonna go back and forth and blend that out to where it's diffused, like so. Next, I'm going into the crease, baby, with this shade. And I'm gonna go straight down and take it directly in the crease and go back and forth. Y'all, I forgot I had these brushes. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, let me try to go through and blend out my edges with the EF2 brush. This brush is really, really soft, so, you know, blending out colors with this, I feel like it would just apply it even softer. I'm going to take just a touch of this and take that right in the crease with this blending brush. I'm going to take that right on the outer corner and then blend it up. I'm going to go in with the metals now. So I'm going to scrape a little bit of this tan one. And I have the spatula from y'all, I just scraped this on my chest. I really don't want to make a mess, but let me take two. Let me scrape gently. I like this little feature down here. I feel like that's cute. It lets you have a place to have somewhere to mix your stuff without having to carry around like a little separate mixing palette. So I'm here for that. So I'm just going to drop just a drop, and I'm going to mix it around with the actual brush to foil it. And I feel like the less you put on there, the better, so it's not too damp, so you can still get a lot of pigmentation. So I'm going to go in with the E5 brush, and okay, let me pick up a little bit more. I'm just going to take that all across the eye, and I'm going to blend it up to the crease and kind of bring it on down towards the inner portion, and then blend it next to the outer corner as well. Now I'm going to dip back into just a little bit of that brown eyeshadow with the blending brush just to make sure that everything is seamless. I this shade was going to be just a little bit more tan than it is, but it definitely has a bit of a warmness to it. So I'm gonna have to switch my earrings. So that blended together. That looks nice. Let me do the other eye. Now I'm gonna scrape some of this blue and I'm gonna take that on the inner corner. And I'm just gonna pop that right here, just a little bit, like icy. I'm also gonna take that blue right on the lower inner corner. Okay. And on the rest, I'm gonna go back into the matte eyeshadow palette and take the shade Matte 5. And I'm just gonna take that all the way across, connect it to the top, and then buff that out. I'm actually going to take a touch of this and connect that just right on the outer corner. I'm going to add liner and lashes and I'll be right back and we can touch the cheeks. So I have my liner and lashes on. So now let me go ahead and put on the highlighter. I'm going to go ahead and take a brush first, and this one is Mario's and pat. So this is really glittery. I am gonna do a little bit of blending it out, but uh-oh, it's broken. Oh no, that's going back to the stove. I can use it, but I can't show y'all because it will break. I think that it looks pretty. It does look wet-like. On this side, I'm gonna take it with my finger, which, like I said, you could do either one. This is the finished look. What do you all think? Of course, I'm going to have all of my makeup details down in the description box. So let's go ahead and zoom out and talk about my final thoughts about this collection. So I hope that you all enjoyed the demonstration portion of this video. So now let me talk about my final thoughts about everything, because you all already know I have some. There are things about this launch that I like and there are things that I do not like. So let's talk about them piece by piece, and let's start off with talking about the last item that I used, which is the highlighter. And I really like the effect of the highlighter. I like that it looks wet. It looks very much so like something Mario would use. I can see his inspiration behind it because it looks like skin. Your skin shows through, but yet it's highlighted in a way where it looks like it's your skin but better, like the sun is literally hitting that area. And because there's such fine particles of glitter, if you go outside in the sun, you're really going to see this dance on your face. So I think it's really pretty and I see the intent behind it, but I do see where this product could dry up, and I think that mine is in the beginning stages of drying up and shrivel up and fall out, which I think that is what's happening, because I actually saw where Chelsea's highlighter was broken up, because I think these are very, very fragile. So as a professional makeup artist, I wouldn't be so inclined to put this in my kit because it's too delicate. It's not really going to be something that I can just throw around or just throw in a bag and take with me on the go. So keeping that in mind, this will be something you would have to keep at the house, and you would have to remind yourself to use it, because I don't think the shelf life of this is very long at all, just because of the way it feels. It's very much so like a bouncy powder to cream hybrid type product, and so knowing that you're not going to be able to keep it long, but it is very pretty. But I don't think that it's functional to have this if you have so many other highlighters and you don't even use them. I pulled out the Fenty one, and when I was touching it, it actually isn't the same at all. I think the Fenty one is a lot more dry and is not as gelish in the way that it feels. It doesn't have that bouncy texture to it. The second one doesn't anyways. The first one kind of did, but I think that the Mario one is a little bit more bouncy in the way that it feels. So I think that they're similar, but the Fenty ones I think are a little bit more sustainable. I hear that one moving around right now. And also something that is just so minor, but it's just something that I noticed. So the logo on the smaller palettes isn't raised like the logo on the larger palettes, and I wonder why did he do that. It's just like it's printed on there, which is fine, but on the larger palettes, the eye palettes is raised, and I like that. I feel like that looks a little bit more expensive, but it's just printed and it's fine. But you know, I wish it were consistent all throughout the brand, but that is such a small detail, but it's just something that I noticed. Now let's talk about all of these eye things. Let's start off with the brushes. I don't think you need these brushes at all. I would say these brushes remind me of Sonia Kashuk's lesser expensive brushes that she sells at Target, the ones with the white handles, in the way that they feel. I think that the shape of the smaller one is nice because it's so small, the E5 brush, but overall these brushes just do not read that I paid $20+ for them, and I definitely think that you could get much better quality brushes for this price point. I think there's better synthetic hair brushes than these, and these just do not do anything for me. Next, let's talk about the eye primer, the eye primer kit. I did like this. I think this was nice to have. It has two different colors for the actual primer, which kind of feels like concealer, and it has the powder down here if you wanted to set that. So I think that this is nice to have. It blended out nicely. It's a bit drier, so that's good because you don't want it to be too emollient to the point where you're trying to put on your eyeshadow and it's slipping and sliding, or if you put on a matte eyeshadow over it, it's really changing the color because the matte is getting on it and it's getting damp and it's making a weird texture. So I think these are a really great consistency for that if you're a person who likes to put on something creamier as an eyeshadow base. I do feel like it helped the eyeshadow stick a little bit more. So I think this is nice. I don't think it's a must-have. I have other eyeshadow primers in my collection that have a little bit more tact to them, but I would use this again because it covers a few different bases. It cancels out your eye color, so if you have discoloration that you're needing to correct, I think this will be nice to have. Plus, he said if you needed to do spot concealing like as a touch-up throughout the day, you can take this and use that. I personally wouldn't do that, but it's there if you need it, and you need to always have products that are multi-purposeful in your collections. And I know there's a lot of people thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot use this. Because it's supposed to go underneath eyeshadow, it doesn't need to be the same shade as your skin. So that's why he doesn't have 10 different shades of this. You don't need it to be the same color. It can be even lighter than your skin tone. Like these two colors are both lighter than me, but since it's going underneath my eyeshadow, all it's going to do is help my eyeshadow pop more. So it's a nice product, but it doesn't say what it is on the front. It's super minimalistic, so it's like, what is this? So that's definitely a detail that was overlooked that needed to be there. There needed to be something on the top to let us know which shade is what and what products this is. Next, let's talk about the Master Metals, and I did like the Master Metals. I think that they're really pretty. Mine already looks a mess because it's designed to be that way, but if you didn't buy the mixing medium, you can use these eyeshadows on their own without any additional products because you're going to be able to get them to work. But if you want them to be metallic, you do have to go in with the mixing medium. But I did peep game because he did not include a spatula with the actual palette. He put the spatula with the mixing medium, and I thought that was interesting because I would think you would put the spatula with the palette because you're gonna have to scrape out the eyeshadows. There's nothing to scrape with this, okay? But like I said, you can use this by itself. I feel like the colors just are kind of random though, you know? I think it's pretty, but I don't really see cohesion when I look at this. So if you look at it like a pop eyeshadow palette, then I could see, but just overall, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the colors that were selected. I think that maybe these fit his aesthetic a little bit. Like if he wanted to be a little bit more daring with the eye look, then he would go in with this. I'm not in love with the colors selected. I think the formulation is nice though. But technically, you can make pretty much any shimmery eyeshadow that is like that wet dry formula like this metallic. So like your Tom Ford wet dry eyeshadows, you can add a mixing medium to them, make it metallic, or even some Natasha Denona eyeshadows, you can make it metallic. And definitely the special shades from Pat McGrath, you can make them metallic. So I don't think this is necessary if you want to have metal eyes. I do think that this is the standout products from the collection, and when you put this on your eyes, I think that you'll be able to tell that it comes from this palette because it is unique. It is. And as far as the mixing medium, I think that it's a nice product. And that's because it reminds me of something that I already had in my collection. My Mayron mixing medium. And this is a makeup artist staple. Like there's so many professionals that swear by this because when you want to foil something, you want to take it to the next level, you pop out your Mayron and you get it going. So with the Mario one, I was looking at the ingredients because I was wondering how similar is the Mario mixing medium to the Mehron Mixing Medium, and I discovered they have the exact same ingredients in the same order. I don't know if it's the exact same product, but to me it seems like it is, and it functions the exact same way. The Mario Mixing Medium is $14, and it has 0.5 fluid ounces of product. In this Mehron, I got this entire bottle, and it has 4.5 fluid ounces of products for like $10. So you're literally getting 4 full fluid ounces more of product for $10, as opposed to the Mario one, which is pretty much the same, and you're paying more and you're getting 4 fluid ounces less. So if you want to get the Mario one, you're getting it off of the strength that you love Mario and you want it for the convenience, because you can get your hands on it in Sephora and you don't have to order it, and it has a dropper. As opposed to the Mehron, it doesn't have a dropper, so you kind of gotta, you know, dip it out and do all of that, but you get so much more products. And lastly, we have the Master Mattes palette, which is what I'm most attracted to from this entire launch. When I saw this, I knew I wanted to have it because I love neutral eyeshadow palettes. It's all matte, so you can do so many different things with this. You can set up so many different eye looks with it. It has all of the staples ranging from lighter mattes to deeper mattes, so you can do your transition. You can wear some of these on the lid. You can go in and deepen up the outer V with it. You can smoke out your eye, and I think that this one is a nice staple to have as far as a color story goes. But moving past the color story, the formulation of these eyeshadows is okay. I think these are pretty sheer. You can build them up, but overall, you're not really going to get a super saturated eye look using these, even with using the eyeshadow primer. I think these take a lot to build up. Now, on the other hand, when comparing this eyeshadow palette to the majority of the eyeshadow formulas that are sold in Sephora right now, I think this one is pretty much on par. But if I'm thinking about Mario and his artistry and his experience and the level of quality that I was expecting from him, this doesn't really give me what I was looking for. But I guess going in, I was expecting something similar to Viseart quality just because of Mario's professional background. And that's not what this is. This is definitely a consumer-friendly palette, and it doesn't have a whole lot of pigmentation to it. So looking at it from a consumer standpoint, I would say that it's fine. It's a nice palette. But looking at it from an artistry standpoint, a professional standpoint, no, I wouldn't put this in my kit. One, I wouldn't put it in my kit because, like I said, it doesn't really say what it is, right? So unless this is the only palette he's going to come out with, which I highly doubt, going forward, we're going to have to be using label makers to try to figure out which one is which, because if you put it in your kit at all, you're going to have to open it up and see which one is what, because from an artistic standpoint, a clear top is everything because it saves time. But overall, I think this launch was okay. I think that it was artistry inspired instead of artistry driven, because had it been more artistry driven, there would have been more pigmentation all across the board, because professional makeup artists know how to take super pigmented products and make it work and not get frustrated with it. And so that's why sometimes when you go into professional makeup artist brands like Danessa Myricks or even Pat McGrath, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this product? But I think that he took that inspiration and sprinkled it here, but he made it a lot more simpler to use, which I'm not mad at. It's just I was expecting a little bit more from the brand, and these aren't necessarily products that I would select for myself. So his artistic ability is still A1. It's just I don't love these products, and I don't feel like they added a lot of value to my personal collection. And I gave you all my points and my feedback on everything that I tried. And if you all are still interested in trying it, I would say go out and do so and make up your mind for yourself on whether or not you like these products. But overall, I'm just not the biggest fan of them. And if I'm being 100% honest, I've liked his collaborations that he's done with KKW and Anastasia better than I like this. And I know he can't keep giving us the same thing because he already did it. But I just wish he would have kept a little bit on that path. especially for the first launch, because that's what we've been wanting, and I've been wanting that Anastasia palette again because I have one and it was limited edition, but that was just perfection. And so from there, that is what I was expecting the aesthetic to be, because that's what he's given us before. But I feel like this is just a little bit different, and when I look at these products, I don't really see his makeup style, or at least what I think his makeup style is. This probably is what he's been wanting to create all along, but since he's been collaborating with other people, maybe he added their input in on those launches, and this collection is truly Mario. Who knows? Who knows? But I want to know what you all think about these products down in the comments section. I look forward to reading what you guys have to say, and I will check you all in my very next video, which will be super, super soon. Smooches. Bye.